Hello, everyone, and good evening. My name is Cloris Yan, and the piece that I just played was a Xinjiang folk song on the Chinese bamboo flute. It was one of my grandmother's favorite pieces. I had learned that piece when I was quite young, actually. So, as some of you might see, my playing has been refined since then. And when I was younger, even when my playing wasn't that great, whenever I played Spring in Pamir's, Pamir, the 春天, my grandmother would get up and dance, and soon our whole family would join in and have a great time together. And that made me realize that music is not just a sound. It carries a connection, a memory, and even a part of an identity. But interestingly, when I was younger, I was very afraid of loud noises. When New Year's came around and fireworks started rocketing off the neighborhood, I would often hide myself in my bedroom because I was afraid of the loud noises. My mom had often joked that I made her miss many beautiful firework displays. Sorry, Mom. However, everything changed when I was 7. My brother was having bamboo flute lessons at home, and I was curious to join in. At that time, my mom had told the flute teacher, "Oh, Cloris will go out in a few minutes or so. She's afraid of loud noises." But to everyone's surprise, I stayed, and I developed a passion for the Chinese bamboo flute. It was a tool that allowed me to express my emotions and connect with other people. To further immerse myself in Chinese traditional culture, I joined the Macao Youth Chinese Orchestra and became the youngest flautist at that time. Every week, I would look forward to Friday night rehearsals where the beautiful melodies of the erhu, yangqin, pipa, and the drums would merge together. And that truly showed the charm of traditional Chinese music right before me. To further promote Chinese traditional music to a wider audience, I even applied for a busking license in Macau. I remember the first time I went busking in Montefort here, and I was nervous for mainly two reasons. One, would people even stop and listen to my music? And two, the most important question, will I earn money? To my surprise, a lot of people, regardless of age, gender, nationality, as you can see here, all stopped to listen to my music. And I received a lot of joy and a lot of applause, but no money. However, the joy and applause in itself is priceless. And at that moment, I sort of realized that music has a way to connect people with each other, to touch people's hearts in one way or another. Then the pandemic hit. Everything seemed to come to a halt. People couldn't go to school, meet their friends. I couldn't go to orchestra rehearsals. However, this gave me a chance to spend more time with my busy parents. So we would often gather around in the living room. I would play the Chinese bamboo flute. My mom would play the hand drums, and my dad would mess around with the piano. And to be honest, we did not sound great, but the time that we spent with each other was very fulfilling and very fun. My mom would often record videos of us playing or of just me playing to our family group chats, to friends and relatives. And they often replied back saying that these videos and the music helped them feel a sense of relaxation and peace during those difficult times. So that made me think, did music really have a power to reach to other people, to change perhaps even one's state of being? After the pandemic, I went to visit a prominent Chinese bamboo flautist in Shanghai. She was ill at the time. She had a cold, but when she picked up the bamboo flute and started playing, it was as if all of her discomforts had disappeared. Her eyes were shining and radiating with life. I was quite shocked to see that, and perhaps she noticed my expression, and she had told me that music itself has the power to change one's state of being medicinally. She then went on telling me about how she's been leading a group of university students from the Shanghai Music Conservatory to experiment and research Chinese traditional music with music therapy. So that elevated my level of understanding of Chinese traditional music to a whole new level. And I was very intrigued by what they were doing. So when I came back to Macau and I told a world outside of my family about what I had heard, a lot of them were quite skeptical. They said things like, "Oh, so you're telling me that if I listen to this music, depression can be cured? If you're telling me that I listen to this type of music, my liver will be healthier?" I could not answer their questions at the time, but I trusted what I had seen and felt. So I delved into research and consultations. What I found was that modern neuroscience and psychology does confirm that listening to certain types of music can reduce your stress hormones and increase the level of dopamine. Thus, it can relieve stress. What is more interesting to see is that these modern scientific findings actually correspond to ancient theories. So, in ancient Greece, we have Pythagoras theorizing about music of the spheres, in which a certain frequency of music resonates with the human body in accordance with the rate of rotation of the universe. Well, in ancient China, we took this a step further with the 5 tones and 5 elements theory, which is outlined in the Yellow Emperor's Inner Canon, as some of you might know as 黄帝内经. So basically what it states is that according to a simple major pentatonic scale consisting of the notes C, D, E, G, and A, it corresponds to 5 tones, 宫, 商, 角, 徵, 羽, 5 elements, 5 emotions, and so basically what it means is that, for example, during spring, it would be ideal to listen to 角 tone music, which harmonizes liver energy to reduce springtime stress. So I found this all very interesting, but I had one question. How do I combine these ancient theories from thousands of years ago and incorporate them into our modern society? To answer this question, I have had 2 very important mentors. So the first here is a Chinese traditional medicinal practitioner called Mr. Chen Yonghui. So he's based in Zhuhai. And in a lot of discussions that we've had, he's told me that the radicals of the Chinese calligraphy, 药乐疗, which means medicine, happiness, or music, and to heal, they come from the same radical. He's also told me that nowadays some Chinese traditional medicinal practitioners don't fully understand Chinese traditional music, and some Chinese traditional musicians don't fully understand Chinese traditional medicine. So again, this made me think, how do I combine these ancient theories in a modern and contemporary world? So this is where it leads to my second mentor, Mr. Paul Cheng. He is an erhu player, and at the same time, he is the conductor of the Macao Youth Chinese Orchestra. So I told him about what I had thought about Chinese traditional music and to incorporate it with musical therapy, and he fully supported me. Together, we laid the framework for this ongoing concert series called When Tong Xing Tong Meets Chinese Music, 当同善堂遇上中乐, as you can see here. So we have 4 concerts per year and 1 per season. each concert, we would play a series of pieces that correspond to the current season, which corresponds to the current tone, a current organ that will be best healed during this period of time. So, for example, 2 months ago, around in February, it was springtime, so we performed pieces in the key of Jue. And it was also during last concert that we started to collect data of selected audience members' heart rate and blood pressure. What we found was that both of these indicators decreased after listening to Juetong music. And it was very nice to see that the uncles and aunties in the audience, that they were so actively participating and very engaged and interested in what we are doing with this research. So that made me very, very happy that we were connecting with each other through music in a modern society with traditional theories. So this made me realize culture is not just a label. It is a force that allows us to understand our relation to nature as humans. Everyone has a cultural identity to discover, and the process may be a little bit different for everyone. That means I'm not telling you all to go and learn the Chinese bamboo flute, even though it's a super cool instrument. Perhaps your tether to your culture could be Indian yoga philosophy or Nordic nature worship. Whatever it is, whenever we embrace traditional culture into a modern society, it ceases to be a relic of the past, and it becomes a possibility for us for the future. Thank you.